Forget the Joker. These villains are really going to give Batman a run for his money. This is Rogues Revamp. Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic YOUnivers, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life. And today we get the start of another new segment, Rogues Revamp.
We just pump them out, baby, pump them out.
Yeah. So Rogues Revamp, or Revamped, you know, pick your pronouns.
Right.
This series is pretty much taking a character from comics and more or less changing his or her, rogues gallery.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of a brainchild of mine where just one day I was thinking, we write some fan fiction. I was like, what are some cool characters that I could bring in and write kind of facing said character? And today's going to be the first character I was thinking of, and probably the easiest character to do, add people to his rogues gallery. So what we're going to do is be taking characters from other mediums, other forms of pop culture, and possibly even nerd culture, and kind of create them and explain a little bit why we see them as a perfect rogue, and maybe tell a little bit what would happen if they were the actual rogue of this said character. And today's said character is going to be Batman, the Dark Knight of Gotham. We are going to be giving you 5 each, 10 total, round robin style, he'll go, I'll go, giving you who we can see being a Batman rogues villain.
Yep. And we may come back to him at some point.
Yeah, but I definitely do want to come back to him some point down the line. Just because there's a ton that I can think of that I can kind of continue on with, and we'll kind of revisit that in a later date. But we're gonna kick it off with Batman. Do you or I want to go first? Paper, rock, scissors?
Yeah, let's rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, so we're gonna 1, 2, 3, then go. Okay.
Right.
So 1, 2, 3, go. I win. I go first. Sorry, buddy. All right, guys. So my first one that I can definitely see inside of becoming a Batman's rogue is the Collector. And no, we're not talking about the Collector from Marvel. We're talking about the horror movie Collector, who basically threw people in a trunk and would booby trap and bob wire people's homes, essentially torturing them. He is a collector. He collects on people's debts, essentially, to figures from the mob and things to that nature. And he also does it for his own pleasure as well. This guy is someone very similar to another famous person who does something similar to this. And he was created in the era of the torture horror era, if you will, with the hostels and the saws and things to that nature. This character is a physical threat. He knows how to fight. He is a combatant. It is believed that he may have been military trained at some point. He is really quick on setting up his booby traps. He is basically, as well as another character that we'll talk about a little later, I can definitely see Macaulay Culkin, and in Home Alone, grew up and was tortured through his childhood as being bullied from his older brother and just turned to a life of crime. He's like, you know what, screw you, I'm killing you and everybody else. And if this was if this really did come to fruition, he was brought into the DC universe, it probably did start with something like that. A nice sweet kid like Macaulay, his home was broken into and he had to protect it, and he was bullied and tortured his whole life, and there we go. So the Collector, I can definitely see he's a dark, brooding character like Batman. He's aesthetically cool. He never lived up to his moniker of being the next big horror icon. Like they remember the trailer saying, "Forget Jason, forget Freddy, forget Jason." He is the new guy on the block. Make room for him, and it was cool. It wasn't the worst movie ever, but it would be kind of interesting. I can see him going around collecting on Falcone's, debts, and just setting people up and torturing the hell out of them, and Batman kept getting wind of this, and who knows, maybe Batman may find his way inside of a trunk one day, and then just kind of tortured in, a very unique and painful way. And there's a difference between someone like the Riddler and someone like this guy. This guy is just physically trying to hurt you. He's not giving you options to kind of save yourself or figure out the riddle and everything will be okay. So he would have a slight distinct difference than someone like the Riddler. So Number 1, the Collector.
All right, so aside from the character I'm going to be talking about, 4 out of 5 characters on my list come from the Land of the Rising Sun in some capacity. And the first character I'm talking about is one we've kind of talked about, and you know and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys out there have thought of the same for this character, Jigsaw. Yeah, from of course the Saw films.
And this was the other character I was talking about. They're very similar, Jigsaw and the Collector.
Yeah. So Jigsaw would be a very neat character for Batman to fight. It'd be very much like the Riddler in that Batman would have to use his brains to, you know, get through all these death traps. And he has a following. He has a cult following behind him.
Right.
So Batman would be kind of thrown into this world where he'd be constantly, like, you know, he'd just be put through the ringer, both physically and mentally.
Right.
Like, I could see, like, oh, the key's put in my arm. I gotta, like, take a batarang to my arm, cut it out, and rip that thing out.
Or even in, like, let's say him and Commissioner Gordon are tied up,
yeah.
You know, and it's inside Commissioner Gordon, and he has to figure out a way out of this. So he may have to hurt him, not necessarily kill him, but he may find a way around it, but have to hurt him to get to this next stage. It'll be pretty interesting to see. Again, and like you said, he has a cult following, and of course we know he's dead in the actual movies. But obviously in our retcon, he doesn't necessarily have to be dead. He could actually be leading this cult. You know?
This would actually be really cool if it was if it wasn't Batman, it was Bruce Wayne, and like
right.
Jigsaw tells him, you know, you've wasted your life as a playboy, and he
yeah, shit, there I go again. What's wrong with me? I've turned into
he's like, you've wasted your life as a playboy. You know, you squandered your parents' legacy. You know, live or die, Wayne. The choice is yours.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
And like each level he has to get through, he has to hurt somebody in like first it's Gordon, then it's Barbara, then it's Dick, then it's, you know, the final piece, the Joker.
Right, and you have to actually kill him to survive, or you both die. What do you do? And it would be pretty cool to kind of see Batman.
The best part would be the Joker would go along with this. He would love to be like, oh, you gotta kill me, you know?
Right, that'd be pretty cool. Great fan fiction idea on top of it. I definitely see maybe us revisiting this in another capacity somewhere down the line. But yeah, this is definitely a great pick. Top notch.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of moving on to my number 2, still sticking in the realm of horror movies. And this is another character that kind of fits the motif of some of Batman's lesser known villains, like Victor Zsasz, if you will. I would say that Hannibal Lecter would be, from Silence of the Lamb fame, would be a great addition to his rogues gallery. Mentally, a match. Like, he is a brilliant mind, you know. He is a brilliant detective, too. He understands the criminal elements, you know. He may not be a detective in the per se, but he understands how they think.
He'd actually be closer to Hugo Strange.
Yeah, and well, yeah, he's a doctor, so yes, in that regard. But he was able to help find Kill Bill. Buffalo Bill. That's another game. Kill Bill has a character that could be there too, you know?
Yeah.
But no, seriously, like, he's definitely a mental match to Batman in many ways. Physically, not so much, but he has shown that he is capable of fighting and defending himself when need be. When he was shown to take out the cops, granted he may have lured him in, bit his nose and things to that nature, but he can protect himself if he has to. But he's also a character that could do a lot of damage even from within a cell. Like, he himself could just be in a cell and be setting up Batman or setting up his targets in other ways. Okay, so he's a character that I can see different elements to him. And, you know, at the end of the day, he's a freaking cannibal, you know, and he is definitely Looney Tunes. It just would be really cool to see the two of them trying to checkmate each other, you know, in the mental game. And that's really why I selected him. A, he's crazy. B, he's just such a brilliant villain, you know? So that's my number 2, Hannibal Lecter.
All right. So my next one, going in the same wheelhouse as Saw, is from the TV miniseries from Japan, Crow's Blood, Maki Tagawa. Now, if you don't know who Maki is, and the show of Crow's Blood was this horror miniseries from Japan. It's on El Rey. It's been converted to English so you can watch it. Mm-hmm. It was actually from the creators of Saw.
Oh, okay.
That they brought to Japan, and it's this story of this Japanese schoolgirl who's been resurrected through this Lazarus-like virus, but she's not a zombie, but all of her emotions are gone, and her whole thing is to spread this plague that turns people into unkillable creatures.
Okay.
Through, you know, just kissing them, and it's mostly girls, and they turn into these super strong, unstoppable creatures that you can only be killed by embalming fluid.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it also makes her incredibly intelligent, and she believes she's the next, Maki believes she's the next step of human evolution, and she wants to make this entire plague upon the world, and Batman would be fighting an entire, you know, he'd be fighting like almost like a unkillable zombie plague, you know.
To a certain degree,
yeah.
I could definitely see that. That's pretty cool.
And Batman, there's nothing in his arsenal that could really stop him. The only thing that he could do is just kill her, and that would really like leave him messed up. And like I said, the only thing that could really kill her is embalming fluid. So.
And so would Batman go the route of killing?
Yeah, does that count as is she really dead?
Right. So there's a moral dilemma in him tackling her as well.
Yeah, she's also super strong, incredibly intelligent, and just a little ball of evil. You know?
Right. She does sound pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Was not familiar with her, but you definitely piqued my interest. I'm definitely going to try to hunt down that. What's the name of the movie?
It's not a movie. It's a miniseries.
Miniseries. Okay.
Called Crow's Blood.
I will definitely have to check that out. It definitely sounds intriguing. Again, something I would definitely love to see. Actually, you know, we've seen Batman face invasions or zombies before, so it'd be kind of cool to kind of see him kind of tackle this. I would definitely dig it. All right, so my number 3, one that I am super, and I just got done watching the movie again recently. Okay. So let me give you guys a setup before I drop the bomb on everybody, because he has no idea. Even though he can see his name up there, he's not quite sure what it means or who he is. So basically, the idea is something similar to like the Robins, if you will. The teenagers of Gotham, something is happening to them. Tons of them are missing. There seems to be this new gang of teenage killers out there, or just teenagers running amok, causing havoc, and thousands or hundreds of teenagers are missing in Gotham, and it turns out that a man named David is behind all this. And you go, David, what do you mean? Okay, and the name of this gang that seems to be growing, I would actually steal from the movie, the title of that movie, and I would call them the Lost Boys. So David.
Oh, okay.
See, pretty cool. So David, yes, the bleach blonde. When you say vampires, we have vampires and we have the sparkling guys, and he's clearly a vampire. This is a guy who, if you've never seen Lost Boys, guys, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. It screams 80s nostalgia, but there's just something so magical about it. The prosthetics and everything in this movie are fantastic. David is ruthless. He's a killer. He plays mind games. He's excellent at doing it. There's like just a scene where his next victim, he's like, here, have some Chinese food, and he's eating. He goes, dude, how's those maggots? He looks down, and the rice is now maggots, and he's like, oh, he throws it down, and he looks down, and it's rice, and then he goes, okay, I was just messing with you, man. Have some of mine, and he gives him his little main, and he goes, no, man. And he looks in, and he's like, oh, those are worms, and then he's like eating it. He's like, what are you talking about? And it's actually lo mein. So he has the ability to kind of mess with your mind. And he may be a character that would be targeting the younger people of the Bat family. Maybe he's incorporated Robin. Maybe he's incorporated, Red Robin. Or, Jason or even Dick. You never know. Maybe he's incorporated some of those into his family. Maybe he figured out who Batman was because he has the rest of his gang is the Robins, if you will. All 4 Robins sign up and join forces with him under his mind control. And now, even though, yes, he did die in the movie, and again, I would not have it, and he would be the main guy, so he would be the guy Batman would have to possibly kill to save his Robins, if I went that route. But I think he would be a cool character, and he's just all around badass.
Yeah, but the thing is that Batman doesn't hold back when it comes to he's already dead, so you'd be like, you're already undead. I don't have to play nice.
You're right, absolutely. But it would be pretty cool to see him try and kill David, who is a badass. I mean, let's just face it, dude. The dude he plays mind games, and maybe not as well as the Joker, but he plays some pretty good mind games, and he can come after you pretty well. And not to mention, I mean, Batman is associated with vampires before, and, you know, Dracula's kind of played out at this point, so that's why I would go with David.
Yeah. So my next one is actually a whole organized criminal organization. And they are known as Hotel Moscow from the anime Black Lagoon, which is pretty much, if Quentin Tarantino directed an anime, this would be it. And in this universe, we have Hotel Moscow. Now, Hotel Moscow is a group from Russia, but the thing is that all the members of this group are former Spetsnaz and special forces from Russia who fought in Afghanistan during post-Cold War. And they also did a lot of black ops and wet works.
Okay.
And you know, Spetsnaz, they're trained not to feel pain. They go, you know, some of them are killed in training. There's some hard men and women. And the leader of this group is a woman known as Bella Lyka. And she is this hardcore, cold and calculating woman who, even if Batman like broke into her office and beat down some of her men, she'd be like, yeah, whatever, bye. She wouldn't be like Falcone or any of them. She would be like, just light a cigar and just go like, are you done? Bye. You know? So yeah, these people believe in brutality gets results. You know, they slaughter, they kill. They've murdered a good amount of people, and they actually, it was said in the anime that they have the ability to start, fight, and win World War III. So imagine Batman fighting in a whole battalion of hardened, battle-ready soldiers who have seen combat, know how to kill, and are smart enough to pull it off without getting their hands dirty.
Pretty awesome. You know, it's pretty cool. I mean, we don't get to see a lot of heavy Russian influence or Russian mob, even, if you will, in Gotham. So it would be kind of cool to see them kind of come over. And this is a type of angle that you could not just affect Batman, it's affecting the street mob, because there would be effectively taking over, you know? So I definitely dig it. I would like to see that. And, you know, it's always interesting, too, when you add a female character into the Bat mythos, just to see that, because there is, whether you're good or bad, there's always something about Batman that somewhat seems to turn on the ladies. So though she may be this hard-nosed badass, you know, somewhere down the line, maybe she could find an affinity for him, or want to recruit him, or something to that effect, or just admire him, you know, admire his tenacity. You know, she has all this background. If you, again, I don't know the character very well, but it sounds like something that could grow, and you can even add some different elements to the character, not just affecting Batman and his mythos. I dig it. I really dig it. So my number 5. My number 5 is actually going to be. My number 4. Yes, but
3.
I already did 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. No,
yeah,
you're right.
So it's my number 4. My number 4, okay, is going to be Tyler Durden. I'm just going to go right out and say it. Basically, Mr. Fight Club himself. Anti-establishment, and we all know that he's a character that we kind of rooted for, and he kind of has a point. But he's not someone who would be like this big menacing bad guy. Kind of like Anarchy, you know, in a way. Kind of almost the same character to a certain extent. And he would, you know, just find the average everyday Joe Schmoes out there and put together this essentially terrorist group, for lack of a better term, without them even realizing it, okay? And they would just be wreaking havoc. And as Batman's busting these guys, he'd realize that they're not really as involved. They're not really necessarily to blame. They're just kind of just doing their thing. And you know, some of them are, obviously, would know what's going on and things to that nature. And could definitely be held accountable. But there would be some of those guys he would just see that they're just so down on their luck. This is their way of being accepted. Some of them may have emotional or mental issues as well. And Tyler himself is just charismatic, and of course the way we would be seeing it is like the Brad Pitt character talking to him in all this glory and machismo, but Batman, when we see it through Batman's eyes, he'd be talking to this guy that's probably like a good 4 or 5 inches shorter than him, and he's just like, dude, like the Penguin could flick you. Like, well, how did you set this all up? Type of thing. And he'd be, you know, one of those characters that one hit, knock him out, done with it. Okay, but he would just be this huge thorn, because he would keep coming back, or maybe not one hit knockdown, because he is a part of Fight Club. You know, he could be somebody that just, you know, Batman's pounding the crap out of him, but he's not going down. He's like,
could you imagine like Batman trying to like jumping into the Fight Club and everyone just ganging up on?
That's what I'm saying. It would be pretty cool to kind of see that, and it's like maybe he broke one of the rules. So then now that he broke the rules, all the Fight Clubs all over him. So just introducing the Fight Club into Gotham, I think would be really cool. Or just he would have to go maybe out of the realm of Batman and be Bruce Wayne and find a way to like join this club, if you will, and he's just trying to become his right-hand man.
Like he can take the matches Malone.
Yeah, exactly. So he's trying to get through the fight, and he can't just go, even though he can clearly go in there and beat the snot out of every single one of them, he can't just go in there and do that. He has to go in there and earn his stripes and earn the trust of Tyler, okay, and just slowly become maybe his right-hand man to figure out where the bomb is planted or something to that effect, okay. So it would be really cool to kind of see that actually play out, I think, and would be really fun if maybe we can get some sort of like animated version of that. I can see so much happening in like an adult rated R version of that story. Batman Fight Club. That would just be awesome.
Yeah. That'd just be so great.
So moving on.
So my next one is another anime. And this one is a character known as Johan Lee Byrd from the anime Monster. And Monster, he doesn't turn into a monster, he just mentally is a monster. It's a dude who builds himself up as the next Antichrist. Johan is the just epitome of evil. He is incredibly intelligent. He managed to trick the detective following him, got another dude to date a girl who turned out to be him. Yeah, he dressed up as a woman and got one of the people following him to fall in love with him.
Okay.
Dude,
could you imagine if Batman was dating this girl and it turned out to be oh my god. Bruce would just be like, and I kissed you.
You just go like that scene in Ace Ventura where he's like, yeah, Einhorn is ankle.
Starts putting a plunger to his face.
He's like, he's got a spongy to his ass.
Yeah.
But no, Johan can actually, like, he's so convincing, he managed to convince several people to commit suicide. So he could just talk to someone to the point where it's like, you're right, blam! And they would be like, thanks, Johan. So Johan would just bring this, like, pure mental threat to Batman. He wouldn't be a physical threat, but he would actually, like, he'd be like Hannibal, where, he doesn't have to touch you to hurt you.
Right.
He's already thinking 15 steps ahead of you. So, yeah. There you go.
Cool. All right, so my drum roll. So my number 5 and my last one. This is a character I would love to be an actuality. Out of all of my guys, I can see them all, but there's just something about this. And when I say his name, every red-blooded male within a certain age demographic is gonna be like, I love that character. I want that character to be in everything. He had an awesome video game. He has a fantastic movie. And I'm talking none other than Tony Montana.
Yeah!
Okay, the coolest, baddest crime lord ever. Drug smuggling, and that's something we don't get too much, even though there is mob influence in Gotham, and there have been drugs. But we're just talking about the yayo, man. We're just talking about bringing in this old school yayo into Gotham, and it's nothing crazy. Doesn't give any superpowers. It's just killing people left and right, overdose, and he's bringing in that pure yayo. Okay, and he's just a guy. He's again a short stature of a guy that Batman would just tower over. But he's
and I think Tony. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but Tony would really like hate Bruce Wayne. Like,
hell yeah.
Like not even if he was Batman. He's like, no, I hate Bruce Wayne because you're everything I hate.
Right. I come from nothing, and you got everything handed to you on a platter, man. What's wrong with you, man? You think you better than me? All I got in this world is my word and my balls, and I got my balls in my hand. I'm not afraid of you or the Batman. Telling you, man. Come on. This the writing
like he would
alone.
stare down like spit in Batman's face.
Hell yeah, like he could have, man, he would be beaten to a bloody pulp. Okay, he's like, where's the yayo? Where's the yet? Where's your drugs? And he's like, and he ain't telling you shit, man. You don't know nothing about me, man. You don't know what it's like. Oh man, and he would just come down like an iron fist on all the little guys in Gotham. He's like, you don't mean nothing, and you don't mean nothing. You now work for me, man. I'm the Kingpin. Oh my God. Tell me, he'd be the coolest. If there's a character, honest to God, that I think is just so freaking cool enough to surpass the Joker as his greatest villain. And I know it's weird to say a mobster to be Batman's greatest villain. It could be Tony Montana. Come on. And I wouldn't call him Scarface because we already got we got Scarface. So he would just clearly go by Tony Montana. And he would just, dude.
God, that'd be so great.
Right? I would play him kind of like Kingpin, where he's just always just above the law too. Like, man, they think they're gonna get him on this, and then he finds a way to weasel out of it. Okay, a little, not quite like the movie because he got busted in the movie and things like that. But he would just be so smooth and cool and slick that he'd have a plan for a plan on top of a plan. But he wouldn't be afraid to get his hands dirty. You know, he needed Falcone taken out. He would be the guy to do it. He would, I got this. Yeah. You know?
I could see like Croc or Firefly, like some of the lower Batman villains, like, we're going to throw him with you, man.
Yeah, right? Like, this guy knows what he's doing. And this guy, there's something... And then there would be the crazy guys that'd be like, maybe this guy's crazier than I am. This guy doesn't realize how bad Batman could beat him to a bloody pulp. He will have every bone in his body broken by noon, okay? And Tony wouldn't care. He would also be the flashiest bad guy. He literally, yes, he would be the Kingpin and just kind of float over the getting caught, if you will, but he would be rubbing it in Gotham's face. He would be just as much of a pain in the ass to Batman as he is Jim. Jim Gordon would just be like, I want this guy out of my city. This little freaking Cuban prick is in my town. Like, send him back to Miami. He's just making things a complete mess. And he would be someone like, you don't need the venom on the street, man. You just need the yayo, man. They just take care of it all, man. And he'd just be pushing old school drugs, bringing, oh my God, I just want this to be a thing so bad. Sorry, my greatest fan fiction, I'm just loving the idea of him being in it. But I think he's clearly probably top 5 coolest bad guys of all time. And everybody, even though he's a bad son of a bitch, everybody loves him. Like, everybody. You know, anyway, so that's my guy, my number 5. So moving on to your number 5 and your final.
So my final one is another anime, and this is one that I think Batman would have serious trouble with, another mental threat, and someone who could probably kill him literally with not even touching him, just a stroke of a pencil. Light Yagami, aka Kira, from Death Note. Seriously, Batman wouldn't even know what's coming, because if you don't know what the Death Note is, it's basically a book forged by dark spirits of Japan, who, when you write someone's name in it, they die of a heart attack, but you could get creative. You could say, such and such dies because a hyena shows up and rips his entrails out and then eats his baby. That happens. So, but you have to know the person's name. So you could have it that Batman's villains or other people in Gotham are like dropping dead, and he's like, what is doing this? And Kira, Light's back at home all the way in Japan, like, yep, I'm cleaning up Gotham better than you ever did. And keep in mind, he took out the world's greatest detective of his universe, L, a dude who could figure out, figure out almost any case. He's known as the guy who could solve any impossible case. He didn't realize his best friend, the guy who kind of became his best friend, was a genocidal mass murderer who killed almost 1 million people from his home in high school, while he was still in high school. Light's a genius. He is unstoppable to an extent. He did go crazy at the end, but still, this dude at his height it could be a threat for Batman. Like,
sure, yeah, absolutely. You know what's kind of funny though? I mean, depending on how you play it, right? How you work the deaths, you can keep it like the show over, like you said, if you get real interesting with it, you could almost, and the way I would do it if I was writing it, I would make it that it's not just like it happens, not something similar to it would be something similar to like Final Destination where random things are happening.
Yeah.
But I would make it to where the guy that's dying sees what's happening. So in the sense of like the demon, if you will, he physically sees the demon, and the demon is the one like causing the car to push.
Well, it's not like you can see a demon or anything. It's not like that. It's more like...
No, I know what it's like, but I'm saying I would, if I was writing it, I would just tweak it a little to where the demon is the one actually causing it, and you see him before you die, in a sense. The reason for that, and just hear me out for a second, is that little, because you know how Batman is always someone who can seem to overcome anything. Okay, so like even like there's a scene in the old Batman TV cartoon, just titled The Batman, where when he first is met with John Jones and he's talking with Martian Manhunter, and he tells Martian Manhunter, he's like, read my mind. And he's like, you're thinking of this? He's like, no, I was thinking of that, and I was just making you think I was thinking of this. So he's so good and crafty that he's able to outthink the greatest telepath in their universe. So what I mean by is now if he can see the demon, there's a chance that maybe he can not, granted I know you have to know the secret identity, but let's say the guy figures out the secret identity, but this demon is still trying to kill Batman, and Batman is just so good enough to maybe get out of the way for the time being until, so it would come down to a hunt where the demon is hunting him, trying to kill him on top of...
Well, he's not even a demon, he's just a regular dude from high school.
Well, I'm talking about the demon that actually, what's his name,
Ryuk? No, Ryuk doesn't do the killing.
But I know that. That's why I said I would tweak it to where he was the one that would do it.
All right, so plot convenience is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not so much just plot convenience. It's just, it would just be a cool scene to have Batman confront Ryuk, if you will, okay, and talk to the demon, or be like, you know, just one step, so good that he's able to dodge, like, the demon is just so used to causing the mischief that causes the death, like he drops apples on the floor, and the guy trips and dies. I don't know why I said apples. I know why I said apples, but it's so strange that I went to apples, considering he likes apples. But, you know, it just, the demon is just so nonchalantly causing the effect of the death. Granted, I know you can keep it traditional and it'd be just as good, but I'm saying if I wrote it, that's what I would do, but go ahead.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, Light would be like, yeah, Batman would be like, how are these people dying? But anyway, so I guess that's our list.
Yeah, that's our 5 each, 10 total. I'll throw some images to the characters, and maybe you guys, if you're not familiar, I know I was not familiar with a lot on his list, but he has piqued my interest to actually research, follow, and maybe watch the movies and animes that these are from. But guys, yeah, let us know who you guys would make a Batman rogue. Who do you think would fit his rogues gallery perfectly? And what story, what would they be bringing to the table? How would you play it out if you were writing it, guys? And until next time.
Actually, yeah, because if we do this again, which
yes.
we are doing this again.
Yes. Unfortunately, we're doing this again. Well, not unfortunately, we're doing this again, but the next character,
because
he's a huge fan of.
No, damn it, no.
Okay, we are not fans of this character, but we're definitely going to do it because he is a very popular character.
And he is getting a movie.
And he's getting a special movie coming out next week, or next 2 weeks, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's none other than Deadpool. We're going to be following up this with a Rogues edition.
Rogues revamp
to Deadpool. And he's someone who doesn't necessarily has the most comprehensive or the most known Rogues gallery as is. So I have a feeling we're going to be able to spice it up and make it a little better than what he actually has in the comic book universe, if you will. And also, guys, we want to, wish you guys a happy Cinco de Mayo and a happy Revenge of the 5th, if you will, guys. Sorry we missed you yesterday on
May the 4th.
May the 4th. But, as always, may the Force be with you guys. And until next time.
See you once more in the universe.